Right, well, welcome. This is SystemArchitect solo version. We're talking about an alpha right now. The video that you're about to watch is to just give you an overview of the tool itself, not get into too much detail. There'll be other videos for that. So, pretty classic user interface. It's a rich client, a rich user interface. You might see some browser-based versions of these things cropping up now and then, and they just can't compete with what you can do with the desktop application. And so you're going to get a better experience in these desktop applications. The left hand, these are dock windows that can be torn off, of course. Same with down here, they can be hidden or viewed, and so it's very configurable. You can make the toolbar at the top go away if you like and just rely on the docks, or vice versa. This is an object browser over here, and we're dealing with a workspace environment, so you create documents in a workspace. So this is a workspace object, and you can right click on any of these objects in the object browser and get a context menu. So we can create new document, for example. Down here is the classes. These are the sorts of things that you can drag and drop onto your document. And we've got stencils as well, which I'll go through in another video and talk about how you can build up stencils. The bottom is the output dock. So messages, general purpose messages. If we were running a database access client or document, we also have some of those types of outputs down here. Searching and validation. The panner is for diagramming documents so that you can pan around, and properties for anything you click on, you get the option of editing a few things there. So let's create a document. This currently supports simple diagramming, org chart, logic chart, and a variety of entity relationship diagrams. There'll be more added to this. We're dealing with alpha right now. And the reason why you've got an org chart and a logic chart is because the tool is not meant to be a general purpose diagramming tool. It's meant to be a tool for IT professionals and consultants. So when you're talking about an org chart, for example, you're talking about, well, what's the project scope? Who's involved in the organization? What are the roles? What are their skill sets? Do I interview them? Who's the contact for this person? It's not to make an org chart for a complete organization. It's for the scope of a project. And the logic diagramming, that's for capturing business logic, decision making, perhaps desktop procedures, anything like that at all. And so this release really doesn't have the UML in it yet and things like that. So it's really focused on the entity relationship diagrams right now. So we've got logical models and physical models. The physical models right now are limited to ODBC oriented, which will cover most people's needs for sure. But there'll be others added for specific feature to enable or expose vendor specific features, such as for Oracle and other databases that are popular that way. So we're going to create a, I think we'll start off with a logic diagram. So it comes up with all the objects have these sorts of things with a pop-up dialog, and it's sort of a complement to the properties. The properties on the right-hand side, you'll be able to edit some things. Everything's editable over in the pop-up dialogs. So I could, for example, put a name for the document. I'm just going to make one up. Fire emergency, whatever. Course name, version 1, and maybe a code. Doc 001. Okay, so you can see the palette now has items for us. I'm going to temporarily hide this guy. And we can drag and drop these. Now this is a very structured type of chart, so you can't just drag and drop things anywhere. This is actually one of the benefits of this tool. I'm going to hide this ruler, we don't really need it. So I can stick a condition in here, for example. If I try to drop it anywhere, it doesn't make sense to the diagram, it's not going to let you do it. If you drop it on this line, it starts to build this up. So now we've got a condition. You can put some comments over here and change colors, whatever you want to do, customize it. But you can very quickly do a logic diagram. And it supports cutting and pasting in the same manner. You can cut and paste sections of a diagram, put them right into this here. So this is, in this particular case, you got a start, a stop, you got a condition. If it's true, it goes this way. If it's false, it goes this way. Very common logic diagram or flow chart. And then, of course, your steps. And they can be described in any way it's necessary. This is a very structured one. Now we're going to look at one that isn't quite as structured. So we're going to close this off. And we're going to say no to saving. And we're going to actually delete that. And we're going to create a new document. Let's create an entity relationship diagram, a logical model. So with a logic model, you're basically doing vendor independent modeling of data. So you can start off with conceptual, which is really loose, then you move into logical, and then you ultimately end up in physical, physical being the vendor specific solution. So we can create entities, and you can, from an entity, you can click this way and you can create more entities and build the diagram up this way. It supports inheritance. Of course, this is a relationship. You can right click on that, get your object, and you can edit your relationships. Say it's a one to many, many to one. What contributes what? It's a crow's foot notation. Very popular one. And of course you can put associative entities on there. You can generate rules. Even though a rule doesn't have a user interface or a domain doesn't, you just drag a domain onto here and it creates one for you. And let's bring one up that's more complete. So we'll delete these. And here you can create a physical model from a logical and vice versa. The tool will actually do the conversion for you. Let's do a ODBC or let's do an SQL92 physical model. And the same concepts apply. Now you're talking about tables, and you're going to get vendor specific data types. And so if we look in here, we can see these are the data types that are provided by the specification for SQL92, and it tells us whether it's supporting different features, sequences, domains, references, views, primary key, alternate key, and indexes, and whether we can create the DDL from them for those things. Basically, what it does, it creates a script, and you can review the script, edit the script, and ultimately submit it to the database to create these objects or to drop them. And you can choose to override any piece right down to the column or domain level. You can say, okay, I'm going to put in this one manually. And in fact, we'll show that. So let's close out of here. Actually, we'll do it here. So we have this thing called a factory. And a factory allows us to create things without using a diagram. So I can go in here and I can create a domain. And as I was getting at, you can say whether you want it to be a manual or automatic generation for the DDL. That is a quick overview of this application. I don't want to make a really long video for this, so we're going to leave it at that. You can search and it'll show up in the output. You can search the whole workspace, which is kind of handy, and then you can navigate to things very quickly. Let's just show that before I close out. So we'll go back, open up the output. We have to open up a workspace that already exists. Save changes, discard those, and we're going to search this whole thing. We are going to search for begin and see what we find. And nothing for begin, so we're going to try, and it's loading these documents temporarily, searching them and creating references to any finds that it does get. I think contacts or persons, or yeah, persons. Let's try that one out. And so now I can just click on this and it'll take me to the object, and you can see it's finding it here. It's also finding it in a table over here, and so on. And so now it's going back to the document, loading it up, and putting the context straight onto what we found, which is kind of handy for diagramming it. You don't see that sort of thing very often. And it automatically expands the pages. You can add a ruler, you can use crosshairs if you like, and you can create guides and move them around, double click on them again to make them go away. So thank you for watching this video of SystemArchitect. This product will be releasing in alpha form in the coming days, and I encourage you to check it out. We're looking for feedback so that we can prioritize the future work on this product. Thanks.